such a large audience, and it's a great pleasure to speak to young minds, and that's what I enjoy the most, working in BAT and also working in different parts of the world. First requirements of thinking big are two things. One is courage. Okay? The base from where it can start to grow, the foundation. And the foundation of our courage for all of you is the fact that you are breathing and living in a free, independent country. When Bangladesh became an independent country, it was termed as a basket case. Okay? Today, we are exporting rice to Sri Lanka. We are the second largest manufacturer of garments. We are making ships for European nations. Our professor is spreading his ideas about microcredit to the entire world, and people are listening to him. Our boys and girls are daring to go for the Mount Everest and making it there. Not boys, also girls. Okay? So as a nation, when we started the journey in '71, there was a lot of this kind of doubt about the ability of this country. And as we have progressed in 43 years, we have demonstrated amazing success. Do you know that our GDP has been growing? I heard this thing very recently, I'm just sharing with you. Every decade, 1% more. So last decade we were growing at a 5%, this decade we are growing at a 6%, next decade we'll be growing at a 7%. And with all of you in there, I have no doubt in my mind we will cross the 10% mark, because there are certain basics that we need to fix. And our track record says that we can grow faster. Whilst we've been doing that, we've also improved the human index, livelihood index in South Asia. When we were part of larger India and Pakistan, the human index, development index, was the lowest in the greater subcontinent. Today, we are far ahead than India even, with lesser per capita income, okay, than the resources that India and Pakistan both possesses. And I don't think any country in the world has the track record of growing faster than the parent country that it's separated from. We've done that. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is that today, where the platform you guys are enjoying has been given to you by some great sacrifice by the generation ahead of you. Okay? The people who are taking up responsibilities of running certain businesses, offices, or any functions of the country are slowly becoming the generation who were born in a liberated, independent country. So the ability to think big is very, very wide. We are not scared of anybody now. Okay? So your launching pad is amazing. It's much, much bigger and stronger than what you had, our previous generation had, than you. Okay? So you are free to be bold and courageous. The second thing is about self-confidence, having a belief that you can actually do things the way you want to. And growing up in a country where you're free, there should not be any question about self-belief and motivation. Okay? There were days when we used to think a man with white skin coming in, we were thinking automatically that he's probably superior to us in terms of knowledge, in terms of ability. Gone are those days, we've thrown those things out. Okay? We are as good as anybody because our professor is teaching them how to do social development. Our managers are running developed world businesses. So we are capable of doing that. But there is one thing that we need to change. Okay? I'll give you, like Sir mentioned, I like playing cricket, and there is a lot of analogies from cricket in business that you can link with. So I'll give you one. To be successful, you need to have that self-belief and the attitude. If you don't have that, you do not win. That is very simple. I'll give you from the past a cricketing example. Australia came to play Bangladesh. I'm sure a lot of you actually follow cricket, and it's not an alien game in Bangladesh. It is, by the way, in some other part of the world. So Australia came to play. They started the game. As usual, a bit arrogant. Bangladesh, what kind of game it will be, we will win, just showing up in the crease. But what had happened is Bangladesh won the toss. Habibur Bashar chose to bat, and we were 355 for 5 at the end of day 1. At the press conference that evening, Habibur Bashar went up and said, if we score another 100 runs, I think we will be safe. Okay, just remember that word. If we score another 100 runs, we will be safe. You're playing against another opposition. You scored 355 on day 1, losing 5 wickets, and you're thinking another 100, I'll be safe. The next day, Australia went on to bat. I can't remember what Bangladesh scored in the first innings, by the way. So Australia went to bat, and by end of day 2, they were 155 for 5. Okay? And Adam Gilchrist came to the press box for the press interview. And he said, we're in a bit of a hole here, but we'll have to figure out how to win from here. The difference is, one team is thinking how to save a test match, even before they started. The other team, almost losing a test match, is thinking how I can win from here. The attitude difference resulted in an Australian win at the end of the 5th day. And we were happy that we could take a test match to the 5th day. Okay? So if you have that kind of attitude difference, you will never succeed, even if you have the talent. Mohammad Ashraful was one of the most brightest cricketer who came into the international circuit, but faded away with humiliation right now. You know why? Because we could not instill the right values, the right attitudes to be successful and to be doing the best things that you can actually achieve. Now, to thinking big, to achieve something massive, like I said, you need the courage, first of all, to think that I can actually go to the top of the Everest, and 2 people from Bangladesh so far has done it. And you need to have that self-belief and the confidence in yourself, right? But if you don't have certain virtues in you, then you will fade away like Mohammad Ashraful. No matter how talented you are, no matter how bright you are, if you do not instill the right virtues and the right values in yourself, you will not succeed to the level that you can. Even if you're half talented than an individual, but have the right attitude and the right values, you will go further. Okay? Number 1, what I'm going to say is not rocket science, by the way, but we tend to forget those. Number 1 is hard work. I'm sorry, there is no shortcut to it. Okay? I'll give you another cricketing example here. Sachin Tendulkar, all of you know, bright, most talented cricketer ever in history has produced. A lot of people think Brian Lara was probably more talented than him. Different story. But another test match, again Australia is the opposition. Shane Warne was playing against India in a 3-day match. And he never bowled from the other side. He never bowled a round the wicket delivery. Okay, so one delivery he was saving for the test match. And Tendulkar was playing in that practice match, and he saw that Shane Warne didn't actually bowl to him at all from round the wicket. So what he did post that 3-day practice match is he went to the stadium where it will be played, the test match. He practiced for 3 days with leg spinners bowling to him round the wicket. Okay? Sachin Tendulkar, the god of cricket, practicing for 3 days just to face a staunch enemy, Shane Warne. And on the day of the test match, the first time Shane Warne came and bowling round the wicket, Sachin Tendulkar hits him for a 6. The people in the audience claps and thinks what an amazing talent. Okay? But he has the talent, but if he didn't practice, he could have been out on that day. So the message to you guys is, there is no shortcut to the hard work. You have to practice, you have to stay at the top of the game to be competitive. Okay? That's virtue number one. Don't try to shortcut. You will get caught. And when you get caught, it is very unpleasant. Okay? The second thing is, in life, you do not win as an individual. A cricket game, any organizational work level things, any war or anything that you do as human civilization, you do not do it alone. Nobody can do it alone. You need a team and you need to win as a team. If you don't do that, then you can go only so far as an individual. Okay? When you work as a team, there are certain things that you first need to instill in yourself, is to respect the other individual. Everybody has something to offer. All of us are the best creation of the man upstairs, man or woman, I don't know, God. Okay? We are the best creation of God. And you cannot undermine the best creation of the entity that we all worship. Okay? So everybody can bring something in the table. And your job as a leader is to help every individual in your team to bring the best thing out of them. Make people do things that they enjoy doing. That's another thing that you need to understand. You have to do things that you enjoy. If you do things, if you are involved in an activity that you do not enjoy and you're just doing it for the sake of doing it, you will not be successful. Anything that you do. So you have to enjoy. So respect others, work in a team and grow as a team. Do not shut somebody down just to think that this guy may be a competition or threat to me. You have to be better than that person. Third virtue, discipline. Very simple word, but what discipline does, it keeps you ahead of your competition. Okay, very simple, another logic I'll give to you from the religion that I practice. There are 5 times you're supposed to pray. Okay? Just imagine the longest gap you have between the first prayer and the midday prayer is the largest. Nobody, even the God, has not disturbed you in that time. And that's when the sun is up and is shining the brightest. If you have slept well last night, your brain is at the best point. In a day, you should have a plan. And you should aim to finish 70% of your day's work in that time that has been given to you. Free of any thought, free of anything, other obligations. If you do that, just imagine how your brain will be at 9 o'clock when you're starting the meeting and a presentation in front of the bosses. You've woken up early, you've thought about what you're supposed to do, and your brain is at the peak of its functionality, versus your colleague who's woken up at 8 o'clock, barely made it to breakfast or probably skipped breakfast and has made it to work at 9 o'clock for the same presentation. So he's hungry, he's not even awake, so he's not even going to show his best performance. Same thing for your exams. Okay? If you don't do your work on the early morning, you will not be successful. Simple basic things. And then rest of the day is also planned. Whatever is left out, do it between the afternoon prayer and the midday and finish. Then evening prayers are for your home, family, friends, socialization. If you follow the disciplines of any religion, you will find that for donkey's years, we've been advised to be disciplined. Okay, and there is no shortcut to it. If you do not have that, you will be slower than your competition. I can tell you that. Somebody will be more disciplined and they will be ahead of you. And there's no point crying and moaning about it. Oh, that guy actually is not that good, but he's ahead of me. He's probably doing something better. Understand from him. Fourth one, try to improve and be world class at what you are good at. Often you are told that you have to, what is your development plan? When you join the corporations, you will have something called a development plan. So what are your weaknesses? Identify your weaknesses and you then work on the weaknesses. What I tell you is work on what you are great at. So you will be world class at what you are great at. If you can achieve that, some of your weaknesses will make you look like human. Because if you work on your weak areas, you will never be at world class on that one. The highest you can achieve is mediocrity. Okay, you are naturally weak on something. So think about Sachin Tendulkar trying to be a bowler. He tried to bowl, by the way, got some wickets sometimes, but will never be as good as he was as a batsman. Okay, very simple. So try to focus on being world class in things that you like, that you're good at. And identifying that early in your life helps you choose the right career that you want to do. Okay? Then I would talk about another virtue, which is, let me look at my notes. Forgot. Again, technology is such a great thing. What did I talk about? Creativity and curiosity. If you do not ask the questions and try to understand how things work, you'll never know as much as you're supposed to know. What I mean by that is, in our company when you join, suppose you are in marketing, okay? I'll give you my example. I worked in marketing. My job is to sell cigarettes. I did not know anything about how cigarettes are made, how we pay tax to the government, how we do corporate social responsibility. It's not my job. I'm supposed to just sell cigarettes, get the money, and make my targets. Okay? And as marketing director, I spend more time trying to understand how the company works, how the commercial business works, how much tax we pay. And I did it with my own interest. Nobody put it in my job description. So you have to be curious to know how things work around you. How this university works, for example. What are the funds? How it runs? How it can be done better? Have you ever asked yourself these questions? Think about those things. So be curious, try to learn as much as you can. And remember, you should be working to learn in the first years of your life, not to earn more salaries. If you are working in an organization that is paying you a lot but giving you very less opportunity to learn, then you're wasting your time and you are the biggest loser, not the organization or anybody else. Because that time will never come back to you. The early days when you're supposed to learn, it will never come back to you. So try to find what you enjoy and try to do that with a lot of passion and energy and try to learn as much as you can while you're working. Keep asking questions. Be foolish. Don't be afraid to ask that question, but try to get the answers how things work. And apply your creativity to it. Start thinking how it could be done differently if you were given the job to do it. How would you do it? You should have an opinion. And once you start practicing, the day you get to the position, people will want to hear how you would want to do it. And that's when you have practice on having an opinion on doing something. Okay? So that's the other virtue. The thing that I wanted to touch base again back to the teamwork area. Okay, that's another one that I truly believe, and it helped me in my career also. I want to share with you all. When you're working in a team, you segregate the responsibilities to the team and everybody does their own part. And at the same time, as you're growing in an organization, you have to delegate. That word delegate means you give your responsibility to somebody else, right? And delegation and abdication, there is a big difference. Abdication means you just give the job and you don't tell him how to do it. Just the load is given to somebody else. So delegation is you empower a person, you train that person to do the job that he's supposed to do. Why you should do that is you need to allow time for you to learn new things. If you do not allow space and time for yourself, you will not learn. You will not figure out the time that you need to learn new things to grow yourself. Okay? As you become the boss, you can give the jobs to all of the people and have great time, play golf or cricket for my case. Okay? But if you do that, you'll not learn, you'll not grow any further. You've stalled at that level. Okay? That's why teamwork is very, very important. And the two last things I want to talk about, resilience and humility. Resilience is something that you need to have in yourself. Don't be afraid to fail. I have launched brands in this market which failed on day 2. Okay? The company allowed me to experiment as well. But I tried new things and I learned. So once you fail, make sure you take the learning out of that failure and never repeat that mistake. Make new failure, new mistakes, that's fine, but not the same one. And don't be afraid to fail or face adversity. When you're trying to do something, you fail, that's fine. Pick up the pieces and have the strength in you to fight on. In my career, in BAT, the performance evaluations are like this. You either exceed or outstanding performance, you succeed in your job, or you're almost there, or you're inadequate. Okay, there are 4 criteria. In my life, the most rewarding time was the year I got actually nearly there. Because I wasn't ready. I got the job a little bit early, the role that was given to me. But I had to learn the most and struggle the most, and my evaluation was nearly there. Okay? So a lot of people getting in nearly there may actually quit because things, my job career is not progressing there that good. But I took it in a very different way because that was my learning opportunity. And last virtue that I would talk about, and then I'll talk about a little bit about BAT. Okay? The last virtue is humility. Be humble. Be thankful to the God up there that what you have achieved and what you have received, what you've got so far. Because there are a lot of people out there who doesn't have what you actually have. It's the most important thing to be humble about the success. Just because you have a bit more money, don't undermine the person who is struggling a bit. Because one day he may be making more than you. Because life is such that it gives you the lessons very quickly. So as you are going up the ladder in the organization, remember every phase, because you may be seeing those phases coming down in your life. So don't be cruel to any individual. That person can hurt you big time. And I can tell you a few things. There are lots of experiences in the world where very successful businessmen, when they become very rich, were a little bit rough on certain individual, a poor government official somewhere, 15 years back. 15 years later, that person is holding a very, very important post in the government, and that business paid for it. Okay? There are a lot of these examples. So, very, very big virtue is to be humble about what you achieve once you are successful. Have you seen Spider-Man, the movie? It says with great power comes a lot of responsibility as well. So when you're successful and big, remember of the responsibilities. Now, all of these are the ingredients to be thinking big, to aim for something amazing, to launch yourself. Okay? Just having that big idea or that courage is not going to take you there. You can have that big thinking, but to realize, you have to realize that dream. And that's why I said about these 7 virtues that you need to instill in yourself so that you don't fall from the cliff. Okay, you may progress a bit, but then you fall. There are a lot of teams in the English Premier League who graduates to the Premier League.